Welcome back. We are going to be continuing this standing figure sculpture. But before we start, I want to thank all of you guys for helping to grow this channel. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers, which is incredible to me. I never thought I'd get this far this quickly. Continue the sculpture. It has an armature. I made a few mistakes. The figure, even though I took measurements, it got a little bit shorter and I increased a little bit of the length. I've been using these calipers. They are much better than just using a brush for measuring the proportions. One thing you have to keep doing is measure the head and compare it to the body. The head serves as a basic unit of measurement. In this method, the head is often used as a reference point because it's relatively consistent and easily recognizable unit of measurement. It's generally considered that the average adult human figure is around 7.5 to 8 heads tall. Artists can use it to measure the various parts of the body and ensure that they are in proportion. When you're comparing and measuring, usually you compare it to other body parts, such as the length of the torso, arms, legs, and other features, and then by comparing them to the head size. By using this method, artists can ensure the different parts of the figure are in proportion to each other. Top of the head to the bottom of the chin, the midway, that's going to be where your eye line is. And a lot of people put the eyes too far up. One of the things I like doing is creating hard edges for my figures. It lends a more geometric shape to the entire figure and it lets you see things simpler. I'm going to add some of the anatomy to the video, but one of the things that's important is to look at anatomy. A sculptor needs to know anatomy. I see a lot of sculptors and they kind of achieve the results using edges as if they're drawing. And for me, that doesn't work as well because I kind of rely on anatomy a little bit more. Now, that's to say that, it's not wrong. There is no wrong to how you sculpt. Anatomy is one of the most important things you could possibly know because it lets you understand what's underneath the body. So even when your studio doesn't have good lighting, when your reference photographs don't represent the actual figure that well, you can rely on your anatomical experience to sculpt and to draw and to paint. Studying anatomy is crucial for all artists. It provides them with a strong foundation in understanding the human or animal form. This knowledge only enhances their ability to create realistic and expressive art. Experiment with various styles and solve artistic challenges effectively. It's a fundamental skill for artists across various disciplines and genres. Keep an eye out for the direction of the rib cage and the pelvis. Often they're not going to be completely facing you. Most of the time the rib cage is going to be tilting a little bit differently than the pelvis. So it's important to note that early on so you don't make that mistake. And often artists exaggerate this. This line down the middle of the abdominals is called the linea alba. And it also suggests the S-curve of the human body. When you are sculpting, try to exaggerate this. You'll find that taking various measurements, say 1 head will equal 1 foot. And I made my feet look like she has Frankenstein's feet, so I have to decrease it. Another thing you might want to consider is making the feet slightly undersized. It makes things a little bit more elegant. Same with the chin boss or the mentalis muscle. There's quite a bit of muscles in the chin, but most of the time it's called the chin boss or mentalis. From time to time you'll see me using a heat gun. I've gotten this heat gun for doing various other projects, but for oil-based clay it works really well because I can melt things and soften them up just a little bit and then I can go in with some tools. One of the great things about oil-based sculpture is that first you have an armature, so you have a lot more flexibility on a pose. You can make a pose much more dynamic. But also in this particular pose at the current stage that I'm in, I can elevate the sculpture up so she is not touching the base. So that might be something that I would consider a pedestal or some other motif for the base. The only downside of this is that you can see it when I'm sculpting, it kind of shakes around, so it doesn't look that great on video. You take plenty of head measurements. In this sculpture, I made several mistakes. The upper lip is comprised of 3 pieces, and the lower is 2 pieces. The superciliary arch, that is the brow ridge. Men have more distinct eyebrow ridges than women. Take the height of the head and measure it comparatively to other parts of the human body, say the waist. I found that on this model, she's got a very small waist and wide hips, and the size of the waist is 1 head. The orbicularis oris muscle is attached to the sides using a node. It's usually like a little bit of a lump, and the muscles come together in a point. I decided to mass in the hair a little bit more. I wanted to get it a little bit closer to the model itself. I'm not sure if I'll stick with this type of hair. The one thing about long hair is that it hides a lot of the muscles in the back, but it also provides a way of stabilizing your sculpture. As I get closer to the arm, I'm going to start making some shapes, including indicating the deltoids, the biceps, and the brachioradialis. I think a lot of times people think that because it's a female model, don't have a lot of these muscles. That is the problem with choosing females as models, because they're much more subtle. The lateral epicondyle and the medial epicondyle of the humerus are very important. If you touch your arm, the funny bone, for example, is the humerus, and you have these little points where you can take measurements. We're coming to the end of another sculpture video, but there's going to be another series where I put it all together and finish the sculpture. The next step, of course, after this is I will be 3D scanning it and putting it up on Sculpt 3D, and you guys can download it for free. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I will see you in the next video.